Welcome everybody, my name is Shwadi and this is my Smoke 'em Out Hunter build. This build revolves around the Capri's Sting and also creating weakening smoke and just weakening in general. You're going to be weakening left and right. There's going to be so much smoke on the field, you're going to be thinking it's 420.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
There's a lot of ability spam and a lot of synergy with this build. This build is also great for higher level content and survivability. To get started with the armor, of course, like I said before, this build revolves around the Capri Sting. With this, we got Touch of Venom. Defeating a weakened target releases a burst of weakening smoke and refunds smoke bomb energy. And the weakening can come from pretty much anything. If you have any sort of weakening on your weapons, that also helps you get your smoke bomb energy back. So you'll see in the clips, there's a lot of synergy with this and the weapons that we're going to be using. As for the mods, I went with a grenade font just to get the grenade back a little bit faster. Our melee is going to be coming back all the time, so I wanted to focus a little bit more on getting a little bit more grenade stats in there. I got a focusing strike, so I can get class ability energy when you cause damage with a powered melee attack, which will also happen all the time. And then we got impact induction. That way, whenever we do cause damage with powered melee, we also get our grenade back faster. On our helmet, I went with a harmonic siphon, void siphon, and a hands-on. This can also change if we go with the shoddy build version of this. I'll usually put on a special ammo finder instead of the hands-on, just so I get a little bit more special ammo for my shotgun. On the chest armor, I basically just have the resistances. But again, if you decide to go with the more up close and personal shotgun version of this build, then you can put on different things like void ammo generation. That way you can get a little bit more shotgun ammo coming out in the field. It's entirely up to you. On the boots, I have a weapons font just so our weapon stats can get boosted up a little bit. Absolution, so all our abilities will be cooled down a little bit more when we get an orb of power. And recuperation, just for a little bit more added survivability. On the class armor, I have powerful attraction, that way we can pick up all the orbs we're going to be making. Reaper, so that after we use our class ability, we can get another orb of power from a weapon final blow. And distribution, that way we can reduce all ability cooldowns when using our class ability near the targets. For our stat distribution, I recommend to get at least 100 on the melee stat just to get your melee energy back as soon as possible, because that'll start the whole gameplay loop for you. You really want to be throwing smoke bombs as much as you can. After that, I recommend more stats going into your weapons. If you can get it above 100, even better. That way you can deal more damage and also have a chance for better ammo spawn. And then after that, it's basically between grenade and class. For our weapons, definitely what I would go with, especially if you want to play it more safe and you want to be dealing damage from a distance even, is the third iteration. This gun is basically perfect for this build, especially after you get the actual catalyst. The catalyst is that when you do precision final blows with the amalgamation rounds, that'll cause the target to detonate into a weakening blast. So because you can get weakening from this gun alone as well as the smoke bombs, this gun will help you get the smoke bombs back quickly. You'll see that in the gameplay clips as well. Another great thing about third iteration is that you'll be going invisible pretty much every time you're killing things with your amalgamation rounds. So that also helps out with your survivability. For your other weapons, it's entirely up to you what you want to do with it. The other version of this build that I have is more up close and personal, and you will be using the Slayer's Fang. The Slayer's Fang is also perfect for this build because every time we get Night Sworn Sights, our precision damage will be increased and submunitions will weaken targets. So that'll also help us get our smoke bombs back quickly. Playing with the up close and personal version of this build is a lot of fun too. It switches up a few things. Like I said, you might want a little bit more special ammo generation just because you're going to be using the shotgun a lot more. You're basically almost going to be using it as your primary, but it's a lot of fun. Another weapon that I recommend if you possibly have it is a Fortunate Star, or pretty much any void bow that might have Demoralize on it, or I guess any weapon in general. I just like that this one was a weapon that just came out because of Solstice. So a lot of you might have one of these bows with Demoralize on it. So because Demoralize creates weakening after precision final blows, that will also help out with this build. Just another recommendation. Plus that also opens up an exotic slot for you. If you do go that route, another recommendation I have is putting on a tractor cannon for your heavy, because that again also weakens enemies. It's completely up to you. For the subclass, I'm going Prismatic and I'm going with Silk Strike just so that we can get Woven Mail with one of the fragments, and because Silk Strike is just a very strong super in my opinion, especially with the buffs that they gave the roaming supers. For our abilities, we have Gambler's Dodge. That's just another way to get your smoke bomb back just in case. We have the Snare Bomb, of course, that way we can throw smoke bombs at targets and weaken them. We have Grapple just because it's a great grenade and it also deals melee damage, so that'll also work well with high melee stat. For our aspects, we have Ascension, just because Ascension's amazing and it gives us Amplified and it'll jolt targets. It's just another way to get a little bit more survivability, and also it'll get us our melee back because of Gambler's Dodge. We also have Threaded Spectre. That way every time we do use Ascension, we'll be leaving a little decoy behind that will attract all the attention from the ads on the field. For our fragments, we have Facet of Hope. So every time we have an elemental buff, our class ability generates more quickly. We have Facet of Purpose. Picking up an Orb of Power will give us Woven Mail because we went with Silk Strike. Facet of Bravery, so every time we defeat targets with grenades, we get volatile rounds on our void weapons, and every time we defeat targets with melees, we get unraveling rounds on our strand weapons. This works out well with our build. Facet of Protection, just a no-brainer. Every time we're surrounded, we get a little bit more resistance to incoming damage, and while Transcendent, it's even better. And then we got Facet of Balance. Rapidly defeating targets with light damage generates melee energy. Rapidly defeating targets with darkness damage generates grenade energy. This is just another way to get a little bit more ability spam since we are going to be dealing both. One thing I will recommend, if you're going with the Slayer's Fang version of the build and you're getting a little bit more up close and personal, I would probably switch out Threaded Spectre with maybe something like Stylish Executioner. That way you can go invisible pretty much every time you get a kill. That'll help out with survivability a little more, but if you don't necessarily need it or if you're playing easier content, then this is still a good way to go. For our artifact, it's pretty open, but I did decide to go with things that would help out with our ability generation and also just strand related things, just because I do typically use a mint, retrograde, or something strand related in our primary slot. So I got Tightly Woven. So every time we have Woven Mail, we'll get increased class ability and grenade stats. So this is perfect to get our abilities back. Refresh Threads. So picking up an elemental pickup, which is like a Tangle, will grant energy to our least charged ability. So this again helps out with ability generation. We have Threaded Blast, so every time we destroy a Tangle with strand damage, it increases the radius of the explosion and its damage. We have Elemental Coalescence. Defeating targets has the chance to create an elemental pickup matching your equipped super element, so that'll just create more Tangles on the field. We have Shield Crush, which is great. So every time we have Woven Mail, our melee recharges faster and deals increased damage. And while we're amplified, our grenade will recharge faster and deal damage. We're always going to be having Woven Mail, and we're pretty much always going to have amplified. And then we have Tangled Web. So creating a tangle by defeating a strand debuff target suspends nearby combatants. This is also very helpful when we do actually create tangles. That about wraps it up for the build. Thank you all for watching. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I hope you have a great day.